Well, hello, everyone. Season's greetings. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you all here today. We're very grateful that you're able to join us. We expect many of our other colleagues to join us as well. And I want to welcome you all. I see some new faces, some familiar faces, and we're all family. We're all in the student services community, as I say, champions, advocates, educators, and equity warriors. And we want to welcome you to our holiday edition or December Lunch and Learn to improve attendance. This is a monthly event that we hold that features outstanding attendance practices by either school districts or school sites from across the state. We're very fortunate to have a strong collaboration this year between 9 different county offices of education. And those are Butte County Office of Education, San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, LA County Office, the San Diego County Office, Nevada County Office, Santa Clara, Orange County, as well as Shasta County. And I am fortunate to be the Director of Student Attendance or Chronic Absenteeism Reduction for the Riverside County Office of Education. We're very glad to have you here. And I'm very, very grateful to our presenters today. This is a school district that I have admired for quite some time, a model SARB district through and through. And we're talking about San Bernardino City Unified School District. Our presenters today are a longtime friend and colleague, Brenda Chow, who is one of the attendance specialists. And also we're joined by Mr. Robert Moss, who is a coordinator over attendance and discipline at San Bernardino City. So my friends, thank you so much for joining us. I will be putting in a link, everyone, for so that you can access this video as well as the PowerPoint, and I will put those in, but probably most likely today or tomorrow, but I'll put the links in the chat for you all. And with no further ado, I hand it to our esteemed colleagues from San Bernardino. Thank you all.
Hey, thank you very much. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Can't see anyone anymore, so I'm going to assume that you can see me. Hey, so how you doing, everyone? My name is Robert Moss. I'm with San Bernardino City Unified School District. I have my partner in crime with me, Miss Brenda Chow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with an introduction of our district, and then Miss Chow will give you the meat and potatoes on how to lower chronic absenteeism. As you can see, our phone number is on the screen. We're located in San Bernardino City. We have about a 6-member team with Brenda Chow being the lead of our youth service specialist. Feel free to write down that number, or if you need it again, I can have Ms. Chow put it in the chat.
Mr. Moss, I'm so sorry. I don't believe I'm seeing your PowerPoint.
Okay, let me exit and see.
I can share too if you like me to, Dr. Moss.
Okay, can you see it now or no?
Yes.
It's working? Okay, sorry about that.
Thank you, Dr. Moss. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Might be a little rusty with the presenting. So here's just an overview fact sheet about our district. We're the 8th largest district in the state. At our 72 schools, we service about 48,000 students. I won't read through everything, but you guys can take a look at the sheet and see some of our gold ribbons and our honor rolls and whatnot. And also take a look at our subgroups over here. See how our district is made up. Our foster and our homeless. Our award-winning programs. Our learning targets for the day is what we're doing to fix our chronic absenteeism. I'm going to talk about some data points, tiers of supports, and also some of our action steps. We have a great fear of missing out campaign that we've been working on. We'll show you guys exactly what we're doing, and feel free to copy if you like. Chronic absenteeism, not sure who the audience is, but if you don't know what chronic absenteeism, it just means students who are missing 10% or more of the year. So let's say the month is September and you're on the 38th day of school. That means if you've missed 3 or 4 days of school, you'd be considered chronically absent. Right now, let's say, I don't know, we're about 97 or let's say 100 days of school. That means that if you've missed close to 10 days, that's to be considered chronically absent. With there being 180 days in the school year, you're trying not to let students reach 18 days of absence, and that's excused and unexcused absences. I won't read everything to you, but this is a year ago. Our K-8 was up 40%. We brought it down 9.2 percentage points. I mean, it's still not good, but it's definitely a definite improvement. You can look at our K-12 and see that we came down just about 7 percentage points. Take a look at what we did in November. Went down 5 percentage points. Obviously, we're moving in the right direction, but 35% of our students being chronically absent is still horrible, but we are moving in the right direction. If you look at our K-12, we're close to 4 percentage points improvement. If you look at our trends, we're trending in the right direction with last year in the blue, this year in the green. And again, the percentages aren't great. However, they are better than last year. If you're paying attention to the chart, you can see that our lower grade students, our primary students, really struggle. What you're looking at now is our subgroups. We have double-digit improvements from October a year ago to this past October. Won't read the whole screen to you, but if you look in the right column, you can see the improvements. My colleague will talk about some of the things that we're doing to target subgroups. There's the fear of missing out, some of our Operation Student Recovery campaigns that we do. Same thing, same information, except it's from November to November. Again, improvement. We still have a lot of work to do, though. Here's some information that we address about why our students are chronically absent. I will let my colleague jump in.
Thank you, Dr. Moss. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. So glad to be here. Thank you, Mr. Alavi, for this opportunity. And just like Dr. Moss mentioned, it's being a long struggle, right? I know that nationally, after the pandemic, all chronic absenteeism numbers increased. So we had to come down and meet and brainstorm and come up with new ideas on how to try to mitigate those high chronic absenteeism rates here in our district. We do have a lot of information, but I do want to make sure that I mention that we have a lot of ideas, and we've adopted some of the recommendations from attendanceworks.org. So if you are in the world of attendance, you're probably familiar with the website. They're a great resource, even if it's just some prompts to talk to the parents, any ideas on September Awareness Month, which I will share in some of the upcoming slides. We research all of that information, and we try to make the best, try to choose the best approaches we can from their recommendations. Now, one of their recommendations was to look at what is that's causing all of our students to miss school. And this is something that we also review within our attendance teams at the school sites. We want to make sure that everyone understands that students are typically chronically absent for one of the three reasons. Either they cannot come to school, they have barriers, either they refuse to come to school, which is under the bar of aversions, or simply they don't believe it's important enough for them to show up to school on a regular basis. Some of the barriers, as you may know, are, of course, not having transportation, health issues. We know the pandemic made that a whole lot worse. There's no safe paths to walk or to go to school. And of course, some of other barriers, especially for our homeless or foster population, foster youth population, is not having access to something as simple as having clean clothes to go to school. Aversions, of course, happen sometimes due to some of those barriers. We know the students who are not showing up to school regularly, they will struggle academically, especially at those early grade levels, as you saw in the previous graph. We know that bullying is also a huge concern. We have been blessed and we are lucky in our district. We have a team of program specialists who actually work with any bullying concerns that they specialize on creating and having an anti-bullying approach. So this is another piece of information that we have here in our district that will be also available for you if you're interested in that. We know the poor school climate can cause the students to basically not be motivated and disengage and from school, from their classes. And some of the myths, we do try our best to communicate with parents in the elementary grade levels. We let them know that attendance is important. It's not only important when students are in middle school or high school, but it's very important as early as kindergarten, even TK. We try to let them know that if there is a problem, make sure that they do communicate with our school site. Also, it doesn't matter if the student is not being absent on consecutive days. Any time they're absent, we know they're missing important classroom instruction. So we try our best to communicate all of that to our parents and also the students. Now, on the next slide, as you can see, I know if you're in the world of attendance, you're familiar with the MTSS system of support. So we do also have that model, and we follow that system as well as with academics, with attendance, behavior, and all climate and cultural programs. So on the next slide, we're going to review with you a little bit of what Tier 1 and Tier 2 looks like for our school site. For Tier 1, we do try to make sure that everyone at the school site level is understanding how important this tier is to create a positive climate and culture at school. If that has a positive approach, then students feel included, students feel seen, they're more than likely to be encouraged to come to school on a daily basis. So this is something that our district, our director works directly with all of the school site administrators, and we provide any ideas and any support we can help them to still develop their Tier 1. So for example, we do recommend that they do promote good attendance, not only promote it, but also recognize anytime the students are coming to school, any students that have had improvement on their attendance. And we also recommend that they keep following up with those students that might be needing support. Maybe they were a problem student in regards to attendance last school year, but this year they're doing much better. Make sure that they're not being forgotten and they feel as part of the population and welcome to be back at school. We have campaigns, attendance campaigns that we've developed, and that's also to help the school sites. And we do recommend that every single school site starts developing an attendance team. That means that the attendance clerks, site administrators, site counselors, any teacher representatives who might want to be part of this team are encouraged to meet any time from 1 to 2 times a month, review reports and data that are applicable to their school site, and then check to see how they're going to problem solve anything with the tier 1 and tier 2. Of course, there's also a third tier, but that will be discussed a little bit later in the presentation. From our district office, what we are doing to support the actions of the attendance teams, we are having a weekly virtual check-in with all the attendance clerks at the school sites. We have a morning check-in with the middle school and secondary attendance staff, and then we have an afternoon virtual check-in with the elementary staff. And this is a quick check-in. It's only 20 to 30 minutes. They log in, and if they have any questions pertaining to a student or any campaign, any attendance incentives that they're having, they're more than welcome to share that with us. If they have questions, if we have any information that we need to give to them, we are sharing all that back and forth. And of course, that also opens up the floor for any one-on-one training sessions. So anytime a school site has a new attendance clerk or a new attendance representative for their team, we go out as needed and provide training sessions for them in anything related to attendance tier 1 or tier 2. On the next slide, I just want to show you a quick sample of what is a quick action the school sites are taking. So for example, at 9 o'clock, we know the school sites are going to be sending out those phone calls. They're going to be calling those students that are absent for the day. And hopefully by 9:30, all of those phone calls have been done, have been concluded. Not only the attendance clerks are making those phone calls, but also anybody else in the school site who might be available to help them place those calls. We do have also attendance assistants here in our department who can help the school sites in case they don't have someone available to make those phone calls. So we do try to help and support our sites the most we can. Of course, if there are students that cannot be reached by that phone call, then the team will sit down and determine who will need a home visit. And home visits can be conducted from the school side. If they have a community resource representative, those are deployed to conduct those home visits. If not, then those home visit requests come directly to our district office, and our attendance assistants will go out and reach the families. On the next slide, here I will show you what our district office created along with our communications department. Communications department was awesome, and at the beginning of the school year, right? In August, we're starting meeting, and we started brainstorming what will be a good slogan for this school year. And our new slogan is missing out. Missing school is missing out. So basically, the message is, if you miss out, you're missing out on your future, you're missing out on your education, you're missing out on a lot of different fun activities at school sites. We also created what we call the FOMO events. So if you are familiar with FOMO, stands for fear of missing out. So we came up with different events and help. We are supporting the school sites to host different events for students to feel like, hey, if I'm not coming to school regularly, I might miss out on any of these surprise fun events. We let them know, don't let them know what day is going to be, just surprise the students with the FOMO event. So that way the students that are present can send a message or can later on call their buddies at home and let them know, hey, guess what happened at school today? This thing happened and you weren't there today, so you missed out. So we based on that. So just to show you on the next slide, some of the pictures. We started with September Awareness. That was our first FOMO event. And what our director, Dr. Baikondova, did, she hosted an ice cream party for 36 school sites. This was few elementaries and a few middle schools, and based on data needs. So we reviewed our chronic absenteeism reports, and based on we saw the school sites that needed more help, we send them free ice cream for their students. So on the day, it was actually a Friday. On that Friday, every student who was present received an ice cream bar with their lunch tray when they went to get their lunch. So it was a surprise. It was, we called it an ice cream party. And then we encourage for the school sites to take pictures. All of this is promoted in our social media pages. So if you were to look at our district Facebook or Instagram, you may look up the hashtag attendance awareness month or hashtag missing out, missing school is missing out, and you will see all of these pictures shared. So we want to make sure that the parents know this is happening, the students know, and of course the staff was very thrilled to have this happen for their students. Our communications department helped us create a wonderful commercial. This is also posted on our social media, and also it was aired as TV time in some of our Spectrum channels. So if we'll go ahead and place that video for you so you can see where we are promoting.
When your child misses school, they're missing out on engaging lessons and rewards, field trips, career exploration experiences, developing friendships, and keeping up with class assignments. Encourage your child to attend school every day. Otherwise, they're missing out.
Thank you. Thank you. Not sure why the music didn't play, but there's music to the video. Might be the link. So, so this was one of the commercials, is of course in English and also in Spanish. So that was also sent out and shared with within our district and community in the month of September. Now, for some of the tier 2 actions and approaches, we know that sending out those notification letters is really important. In our district for this school year, we actually changed the criteria, and this is what this is what the truancy letters now look like. First of all, we don't call them truancy letters anymore. Again, if you're in the area of attendance, you know that it is ed code that we notify the parents anytime their students become a truant, which usually happens at 3 unexcused absences. Again, because we have to notify, and this is ed code, and there's certain criteria those truancy letters need to include. There is a criteria that needs to tell the parent the different type of ed codes applicable, and when a student, a definition of when a student is classified as truant. And if you've seen that verbatim before, sometimes it's not very friendly. Parents don't like to read that their student is being classified as truant. It does state that it is state law, the students are present. So it can be an unfriendly letter. However, for this school year in our district, we decided to change the format of the letters. Again, this is also from our research and what we have found out through the attendance works website. And we noticed that the recommendation was to have shorter letters and have something where we are calling the parents to work with us, to be a team with us. So the letters are now being sent at 3, 6, and 10 days of absences. So the parents do receive 3 absent notification letters. It includes excused and unexcused absences. However, we reserved all of the truancy verbatim and all of the unfriendly ed codes to be listed as a footnote. So in reality, when the parents get that letter, what they will see first is something to let them know that, hey, we noticed your student is missing, but we need your help. We need you to partner up with us. We need you to contact us if you need help. And it's the first letter is very short. It's less than a page long. Second letter is just includes an additional paragraph that says, hey, we still notice they're still missing. We still want to help. It is important that you contact us. We need your help. We want you to be our partner. And then at 10 days of absences, then those parents receive those START invitations. And what we ask the school sites to do different this school year is to please call and confirm those START meeting dates with the parents. So we want to make sure that they are showing up to as many STARTs as they can. We want to make sure that we're getting a hold of the parents sooner rather than later. So it's very simple. It's a very simple approach. We have reports that some of our school sites already said that they do have more parents showing up to their START meetings just by making that START meeting reminder call. And also one of the school sites actually shared that their START meetings outcomes doubled. So they had the double of parents show up to the START in comparison to what they had before. So they are creating those connections. And we, as Mr. Alavi probably already shared with you, he's big on SART programs. We actually, one of the trainings that we attended, it was actually Mr. Alavi's training. We took some of those formats, some of those recommendations, and revamped our START contract. We call them START agreements now. And many of those recommendations we implemented in our district. So, you know, just to give recognition to where it's due. So we try to support our school sites the most we can. And on the next slide, as you know, our district is a big district. We do have 48,000 students. So if you notice, our chronic absenteeism rate last year was 40%. That means that close to 18,000 students in our district were that, you know, chronically absent. So Operation Student Recovery is another Tier 2 interventional tool. This is when we conduct home visits on a mass level. So again, we look at our data and we try to reach the students that are at risk of becoming chronically absent. So there are two different type of approaches to Operation Student Recovery. One is to go out and let the parents know, hey, we are present, we are here. We know that you know, there's an attendance concern. However, we are here to help. How can we help you? We have been very fortunate to have volunteers from our community, from our district, even from other districts to join OSR, what we call OSR. And we have targeted 1,300 students so far this year. It is a huge task. It is a huge project. It does take a lot of time. We need a lot of volunteers to make this happen. But we are thankful to our community members that have said, hey, we're here. We can help you. We'll sign up. We'll go out in a team and we'll conduct those home visits. The picture that you see on the screen is actually Operation Student Recovery during distance learning. Even during distance learning, we had an event. We reached out to 1,000 students. There was 1,000 students on our list. That was our first big Operation Student Recovery. We normally have anywhere from 300 to 400 students, but this time we needed to reach out to that many more students. And so far for this school year, we've had two events. One was on August the 24th, and the other one was recently last month on November the 4th. And the target for each Operation Student Recovery is different based on the need of the district and of depending on the time of the school year and depending on what is it that we are trying to achieve. We've also been very grateful to Amazon. They have provided us with donations. So when we send out those home visits, those teams actually go out with either school supplies or some sort of giveaway that's going to benefit the students or the families they're seeing. On the next slide, Tier 3 is basically the district intervention when the students are habitually chronically absent. So this is not just the student that is only missing 10 to 15 days. These are students that have 20 absences, 30, even sometimes 40 absences now at this time of the school year. So this is when STAR starts happening. Here from our Positive Youth Development Department, we send out all of those SARB notifications, inviting the families to a SARB meeting. This is a year-round effort. We do start SARB meetings as early as August. We try to concentrate on students who had that had really bad attendance during that last school year, and we try to reach to them at the beginning of the school year. And the school side, we ask for their support to help us make sure that those parents are also showing up to their SARB. So if they happen to see the parent at the school site and they know they have a SARB meeting coming up, please remind them, help us remind them, like, hey, your meeting is on this day, make sure you don't miss it. And in the event they have better phone numbers to contact the parents, then we also ask them to help us, please confirm those SARB meetings. On the next slide, just to show you a little bit more of what our SARB team or attendance team does here at the district level. Like I said, it's not just SARB meetings. We don't just send out invitations to students for a SARB meeting, but really we start all of this in July. This past July, we hosted a summer attendance awareness workshop. So this was for parents. We had parents from students in kindergarten to third grade who had who entered the school year with 18 absences or more. And what we did, we invited them to a workshop. We had catering available for them, quick snacks. And we had a 20-minute presentation where we went over everything attendance. We shared with them why it's important, what are some of the common attendance protocols they're supposed to be familiar with, how to clear absences, what is constituted as an excused absences. So we basically gave the parent tools in regards to attendance. Also, our attendance team assistants, they went out and conducted door canvassing, and they distributed first day of school information. So based on our data, based on our chronic absenteeism rates, we picked a few school sites that we noticed had the highest growth in chronic absenteeism last school year, and we went out and through their area, through that neighborhood, they went out and they distributed flyers just to remind the parents of the first day of school. We wanted to make sure that their students were starting school on time. And we made ourselves available as much as we could at any back to school events. Again, promoting attendance, promoting the first day of school and our school year calendar. Now that we're getting close to our winter break, our attendance assistant, any type of home visit they conduct or any type of door canvassing, they are giving out those holiday schedules just to let the parents know when the students are going to be off for winter break and when are they supposed to be back to school. On the next slide, this is just a little bit on safe routes because we've heard a lot of parents and we've heard concerns that sometimes their students are missing school because they don't feel safe to either walk to school, or they don't have reliable transportation, or basically they don't know anybody else that can help them with bringing their student to school. We have a safety and attendance committee. Again, our community is very involved. The same group of volunteers that sign up to help us during Operation Student Recovery have signed up to be part of this committee. And we have created safe routes projects and events at different of our school sites. For high schools, specifically one of our high schools, there was a concern about homeless encampments very close to the school. There was also concern of drivers driving a high speeds, not respecting the fact that it is a school zone. So we do partnership with Alta Planning, which is an agency that helps our district promote and develop the Safe Routes programs. And on the next slide, there's a picture of a walk at it we had at Pacific High School earlier in the year in April. We were fortunate enough to have city officials participate during this walk at it. So they were there and they saw firsthand what our students are seeing when they walk to school in the morning and when they walk home from school in the afternoon. Based on these findings, actually, one of our city officials shared with us that some of the findings of this walk audit helped them determine what would be a priority on some of the streets needing repairs and cleanups. So as you can see, we had 2 routes around Pacific High School community. We set up about 5, there was about five groups, 5 teams, and we gave them a form so that they could record what they saw, what they observed during the walk at it. And based on that, there were different ideas that were shared back to the district and to the city of San Bernardino. So this was huge. We also had a parent and student survey component for them to let us know what is it that they consider to be a concern. One of our middle schools, we also had another walk at it recently, last month in November. It was actually led by 2 parents. As you can see on the pictures, I don't know if you're able to see that big hill in the picture in the background. So this is a hill that's right next to one of our middle schools. What that is causing is causing a lot of drivers that are driving from that area, from that hill towards the school side, is causing for them to, of course, one, speed up, and another, there is, if you can see, there is no traffic light right there. So it's causing a lot of drivers to feel the need to make illegal U-turns right in front of the school site, which is also not safe, has caused car accidents. So this was a huge concern for some of the parents that are regularly there in the morning. And it was actually, they were actually the ones who started up the observations. And once our district became familiar with those concerns, then we went out again with the Alta team, the planning team, and we conducted the walk audit. And as you can see, we also had city officials present. And the very next day, we did receive an email that they already had a team going out to the Shandon Hills area to clean up visible debris that was noted on that day. So it is something that is making the parents feel heard. We know the student safety is important. And on the next slide, just to share with you a little bit about safe routes at the elementary level, it looks a little bit different. We have been able to set up groups and actually walk with the students to school in the morning or in the afternoon. And we do review walkable areas around the school sites, and we strive to identify routes that will take the parents only 10 to 15 minutes to walk with their students. And the purpose is to get all the parents to know each other, to create groups that may be able to walk with the students in the morning. And as you can see, we had a really good turnaround. Most of the people that you see walking there, most of the adults are actually either school site teachers or parents. So this was another great way to create that that community and that engagement for parents. And of course, it relates back to attendance. I know that there are some questions in the chat, so let me take a quick look. Miss Maggie Brown share that she loves that FOMO slogan. Thank you. It's been working out. And then there is a question from Renee Castor. What does your summer presentation for parents look like? We'd love to have something like that for our parents. We can definitely share a copy of that. We can send it to Mr. Alavi, and he can share within the Google Drive. And yes, the PowerPoint has been shared. So I'm pretty sure Mr. Alavi will be including this in the Google Drive that he mentioned earlier. Thank you. Any questions, anything? Anything that you would like to know a little bit more about? I know we
And Dr. Moss, first of all, I just want to thank you. I mean, you know, this is the holiday season and everybody's, you know, thinking about gifts. And I think you really gave our community of practice a tremendous gift today by sharing your outstanding program. I mean, you all are running on some high octane fuel. And just the things that you're doing are so panoramic. One of the things that you mentioned a couple of times was your site attendance teams, and that you have site attendance teams at most of your sites.
Mm-hmm.
How did you encourage the sites to create those? How did you make that a reality?
So our director, Dr. Bacandova, she has every so often management meets, and they debrief and brainstorm on ideas on how to promote attendance. And we had talked about the idea of, well, how do we make sure that our SART meetings are more effective? And actually that whole team approach came out of the SART meetings. We have always known that it is better to have a SART team instead of only one person assigned to a SART. But it is better to have as many people or as many staff available from the school side that are able to offer resources back to the students in need. So from there, Dr. Bacandova did talk over with admin and of course our assistant superintendent over student services, and that's where the idea came about, that it is more than just one person dealing with attendance. It is more than only the attendance clerk in the office dealing with attendance, but it is more of a team approach. I don't know if I missed anything, Dr. Moss, on that.
Yeah, I would just like to add, like, as she's doing meetings with the administrators, we just talk about best practices, expectations for tier 1 and tier 2. And we, of course, want to support them. And this is how we have Brenda and the team training their staff. And, you know, we just let them know that, hey, we're here for you. And if you want to see changes. Also, sometimes we talk to schools, in the schools that did have those attendance teams, they had better chronic absenteeism decreases. So it's like, hey, here's what successful schools are doing. So if you want to get on board, then, you know, please do.
That is so fantastic. Music to my ears. If we could have one wish, it would be that every site had an attendance team along the lines of what you all have created. Any other questions for our awesome presenters today?
I see a question in the chat. It says, Ms. Monica Lopez Larios said, you stated that you did away with the truancy letters. So we didn't do away with truancy letters because they are part of Ed Code, and it is a requirement for those notifications to be sent. What we did away with was the unfriendly format. So as part of the truancy letter, we need to include Ed Code and those different requirements that state that a parent can be penalized if the students continue to become truant. And that used to be kind of like the main content of our truancy letter. So we made that part of the letter, that content, to be part of the footnote. So we have a long footnote for our truancy letters. It is still essentially a truancy letter. But what we want the parent to see and read is more of the communication part that says, hey, your student is absent. This is how many days we have on our records that your student has been absent, and we need your help. We don't want the absences to continue. So that's the part that was changed. But in reality, it is a truancy letter. It is still very much a truancy letter.
Thank you.
There's also, do you have a SART team handbook or guide? Yes, we do. We have one, and we will be more than happy to share it back with Mr. Alavi. So yes, and disclosure, you're going to see a lot of Mr. Alavi's recommendation on that guide. Do you have many families attend the summer attendance workshops? We had, overall, we hosted 4 sessions. Actually, no, 6 sessions over 3 different days. So we had like a morning session and an afternoon session. And during all those sessions, we had a total of close to 250 parents show up, which is really good. It's better than nothing. We were hoping for more. We actually sent out close to 600 invites, but hey, 250, that's awesome. and actually a lot of them were a lot of TK in kindergarten. So just to see that kind of like that aha moment with the parents, because they're coming from preschool. You know, preschool is really like, hey, if you know the student, or if you know the little toddler, 4-year-old, 5-year-old shows up, and if they don't, no big deal. So for them to come over to regular school site setting and just knowing about attendance and how all of that works, it was actually pretty good. Some parents, yes, were not very happy to hear those news, but some other parents were just grateful. They just were grateful to know the information and know how to go about their students' attendance. The other question is your lower community areas experiencing low attendance compared to other areas? Yes, we do. We have areas in our district that are predominantly known for having higher chronic absenteeism levels, and it is due to many of the reasons, as we stated on that chart, many barriers, because there's no safe paths to school. And if they can walk to school and there's no one in the home that owns a car or can drive the students to school, and they don't qualify for a school bus, then yes, that's the first sign of the first reason for absences. The other is, of course, safety, like we mentioned. And then just not knowing. We have a lot of mobility, especially what we call the San Bernardino High School corridor area, which is central downtown San Bernardino. We have a lot of mobility in our families. So my students might show up absent at one school site, and then all of a sudden we notice that they moved to another school site, but in between moving, they were absent. So yes, we see that difference.
And Brenda and Dr. Moss, if I might ask another question, please. You mentioned that you have on your site attendance teams, community resource workers. Could you please tell us who these folks are, what they do, how you acquired them as teammates?
Yes, so the community resource workers are actually from the family engagement centers. So we do have a department under student services, our student services division. It is all about getting parents engaged in basically in their kids' education. So they do have, I believe they do have a community resource worker for every single school site. So it is a huge department. And those community resource workers, they can be utilized for anything that has to do with parent engagement. So some of them are utilized to conduct those home visits. Some of them are utilized to host classes for the parents in different subjects. workshops, or also when we were in distance learning, they were actually being utilized to help the parents navigate all of the Google Classroom and all of those distance learning classrooms and information they needed to know. So they're utilized in our district as the need, as they needed. Mhm.
And one very serious question I have, when's your next ice cream party? Because I'm not that far away.
So actually, what we had for the month of December, instead of ice cream party, was a cookie party. So we sent out a cookie for every single student that showed up. It was chocolate chips cookie. And we did receive pictures actually this morning. I'm not sure if we were in time to include them in the PowerPoint. So it is a surprise, Mr. Alavi, for the school sites. But we'll be sure to let you know what our next event is. We are going to go on winter break on Friday. Well, actually, tomorrow is the last day for our students. So all of those chocolate chip cookies went out today. So between yesterday and today. So we want to make sure that they receive their treat before going off on winter break.
Any other questions or comments for our outstanding presenters? Just wanted to remind everybody that we will upload this video and put the materials in the folder, and you have the links. And for those of you who may have just joined us, I'm just going to put the links in again, and I should have those done within the next day or two. And in there, there's links. There are videos from all of our previous presentations and resources, PowerPoints from our other presenters who have all been outstanding. So please take advantage of those. We want a library of best practices, and our library just got a fantastic addition here today with our friends at San Bernardino City. So I just want to thank you both very much. You have such an outstanding program, and I want to wish all of you a happy holiday and hope you get some much deserved time off. And thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us today. And my email is in the chat box, but we'll send all our guides and presentations to Mr. Alavi, and you will find our contact information there.
Fantastic. And folks, please feel free to forward the emails and the flyers. The Zoom link is the same for every month's Lunch and Learn. The more, the merrier. And thank you all so much